A very good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for the UBC News Tonight, this 7th day of July 2024. My name is Wadulo Arnold, and we're going to be having an hours-long bulletin, so do sit tight. And Elizabeth Namuyomba is on the sign language, or rather Dorothy Namuyomba, my bad. So without further ado, let's get straight into the bulletin, and this is our first story. The Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo has commissioned 1,560 patriots in Katakwi district. The patriots were drawn from secondary schools and vocational training institutions within Katakwi district. She stressed the 4 principles of the NRM government, which are calling for nationalism, Pan-Africanism, democracy, and socio-economic transformation. To alleviate them out of poverty, she called upon the patriots to focus on wealth creation through commercial agriculture, information and communication technology, and industrialization.
Students. Then we have Studio Ivan, the current commander. Then we also have Apio Patricia from Apis High School.
I thank you, the patriots, for choosing to join the patriotism clubs in your respective schools. The patriotism is the idea which His Excellency the President conceived in 2009. And I urge you to use the knowledge and skills that you have acquired through this training to enhance the resourcefulness amongst yourselves and within your schools. Now, we expect you to be free of alcohol. You should not be thinking of any type of alcohol at your age, because alcohol ruins your health, but also diverts you from your intended goals and objectives. With this training of patriotism, we expect you now to live responsible lives. Avoid promiscuity, because from there, you tap diseases like HIV, AIDS, and other STIs. At this stage now, we expect you to be exemplary, even with the way you walk in school should be an example to others. The way you dress should be an example to others. And most importantly, your actions. We expect you to be God-fearing. Uganda motto is for God and my country. But also we expect you to be very hardworking and disciplined and patriots full of humility and responsibility with a correct mindset at all times. You are the people now who will be shining stars in your schools, guiding every peer of yours to ensure that they solve problems through dialogue. Avoid strikes at all costs. Or even when you are out of school, avoid demonstrations at all costs, because they are very counterproductive to the environment. They are very destructive and time-consuming.
Please, being a student, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are very clean. The clothes you wear, the way you bathe, the way you brush your teeth, and each and everything regarding to environment where you are staying. the diseases will not catch you. Lastly, the community service. Tell them as a leader what you have learned. It has taught you to be future leaders. Please embrace this immediately after your education. Know that you are going to be leaders.
What we are witnessing today here is love for the country. When you finish the country, you go to the region and Africa at large. Particularly, President Museveni is the one who initiated it in 2009, having seen its importance, but Mama, you have been there for us, promoting it, especially in the Katapik and even in the case at large. Because last month, I saw you in the Soroti passing out 10,000 students in the Soroti city.
And furthermore, schools in Uganda have joined the world to celebrate the International Swahili Day at Seta High School Green Campus. Now, teachers appealed to government to implement teaching Swahili starting from lower primary. Sadam Mobale has more details.
It was a moment to test communication in a language that will unite at least 80% of East Africa. Kiswahili is a widely spoken language that would ease communication among the people at least in 7 states. So this was the International Swahili Day celebration at Seta High School Green Campus in Mukono. The event was characterized by songs, music, dance and drama to showcase the Swahili cultural diversity. Here, Swahili teachers appeal to government to promote Swahili and kickstart its teaching at lower primary level.
Most of the students that we get, they come to secondary without any knowledge as far as Kiswahili is concerned. But if they were to be having a knowledge from primary, it will be a build-up when they come to secondary.
In Uganda, we are receiving more students who are coming up with taking this Kiswahili as a subject. Kiswahili is a subject of tomorrow, unlike English is the subject of yesterday. So we call upon the support from the Ministry of Education, the government, to support us as teachers so that we can push this Kiswahili.
Kiswahili is the second official language of Uganda and widely spoken in the East African community, with at least 100 million speakers in Africa.
We also face a challenge of the fact of learning it is going to be hard, or is already hard for us, because even talking it with our teachers is a bit hard.
As we speak, the students think that me teaching them Kiswahili, they should be taught in English. Yet, it means I'm teaching English. They have to be in position to accept to learn Kiswahili through Kiswahili. Otherwise, it is one of the easiest subjects I've taught.
Students discussed the opportunities the language presents and its role in facilitating trade and regional integration.
Today we are celebrating the World Kiswahili Day, and I would advise all parents to encourage their children to take on the language of Kiswahili, because it is used in the entire East Africa.
I believe that since we are within the East African community, these children are really going to find it easy to maneuver in whichever capacities they will reach in their lives.
The event also acted as a catalyst for seminar discussions for Senior 4 candidates in preparation for forthcoming national examination.
We are here with our learners to celebrate this day, and also we are here with our candidates as we prepare them for the forthcoming examinations. And also we have brought the Form 1s and 2s to celebrate this language. The United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization declared 7th July as the Swahili Language Day, which is observed annually. Sada Mobale, UBC News, Kampala.
The National Information Technology Authority of Uganda is expanding on the existing data center to provide more computer and storage space for government systems. This will prevent failure of one system affecting another digital structure within government. The Executive Director, NITA Uganda, Dr. Hatui Mugasa, says that it is aimed at making effective ongoing initiatives, including the Uganda Digital Acceleration Project, UDAP, which seeks to connect all districts, sub-counties and parishes.
This is transforming the way we travel or the way we handle documents, and it also provides that level of security in storing these documents.
A few weeks ago, National Information Technology Authority Uganda won the prestigious World Summit for Information Society Award in Switzerland. The award, issued by the United Nations, was recognizing UGPass system, a special digital product created and developed by NITA Uganda. It is a digital authentication and e-signature system that enables citizens to digitally sign documents.
This is especially useful for people who have large contracts. You can sign a single document, but also you can sign a file or documents with multiple pages by a click of a button. The reason why we won that award was that they were looking at countries that are using ICTs in the day-to-day life, but also expediting or enhancing service delivery and expediting that process of moving from a developing to a developed nation.
Uganda's competition with all the countries under the UN umbrella has re-energized NITA Uganda to advance the country's digital journey further. So, the authority is expanding on the existing data storage center to ensure safety of national data.
We are encouraging government to host or to develop solutions in-house. We can't do that without a data center. We already have a data center and a disaster recovery center, but we're building a third data center that is we're expanding on the existing data center to provide more space, compute and storage space for government systems.
Other ongoing undertakings, such as the Uganda Digital Acceleration Project, UDAP, and UG Hub, will be effective.
Objective of UDAP is expansion of broadband connectivity to guarantee 100% of districts are accessible. And the second objective is to provide solutions that are going to enable government and the private sector to efficiently operate using digital solutions. At the moment, we have connected 133 agencies to the UG Hub. The banks are connected to UG Hub. It has enabled banks get clients faster through the electronic KYC, know your customer process. We are now going into the private sector.
UDAP, a project approved by Parliament, will connect all local governments to the national communication system.
At the moment, we are about 53 districts out of the 134. Hopefully, if none has been created. That does not. It's not our internet, or it's not good enough for us as a country.
NITA Uganda envisions a 100% connection to all districts, including islands, in the next 5 years. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Amanya gange nze Namtebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanye eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo 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 era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
The Uganda National Oil Company UNOC is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior. Baby Junior.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Now in more news, the Minister of State for Investment and Privatization, Evelyn Anite, recently opened a fresh fight to save millions of money lost in the development of Kampala Industrial Park in Namamve. She says that the corrupt have got high connections and they put on an innocent face in front of the president, but she hastened to add that she won't be bullied in her policy role of helping the president to fight them. Minister Anita is displeased with the payment disguised as an honoraria to select UIS staff, including the Director General. According to the UIA officials, the payment was part of the UIA human resource procedure. More details with Daniel Mugoya.
My personal conviction has been because everywhere in the community where I have been moving to mobilize for my party, NRM, I get the sense from the population that we have let them down, especially in the areas of just looking on the corrupt, stealing or robbing our country.
The Minister of State for Investment and Privatization, Evelyn Anite, has shared her thoughts how the corrupt syndicate to succeed in government.
You said that the corrupt easily access the president.
Because they are dressed, they're wolves in the sheep clothing. So he wouldn't know. They just arrive and approach him, and they wear this innocent face, and then by the time they reach him, they say, you know what? Actually, Honorable Anita is not fighting me because I stole money. She's fighting me because she doesn't like the other person you brought.
Minister Anita's examples do not stretch far from her docket after a successful fight to save Uganda Telecom Limited Company from liquidation.
We were able to liberate the company, and now we have a national company. And that came at the cost of me accruing enemies. I mean, I accrued very many enemies and lost some of my friends.
Were the threats within government or?
Of course, the ones who are doing all these things are within government. I told you the opposition is not outside government, it is within government.
The recent loan acquired for the Kampala Industrial Development Plan project at Namamve sparked another controversy after part of the funds were shared by a section of the UIA staffs under an arrangement of honoraria payment. At least 500 million found its way to the accounts of selected UIA staff.
It is not true that the money that is being paid is a loan for construction of the infrastructure project. It is that the loan has two components. One for infrastructure development for the contractor, and another component also which was bought by the government of Uganda for project supervision by UIA and the staff they employ.
The UIA management addressed that the additional payment was after UIA staff successfully played the roles and responsibilities of owner's engineer whose contract was terminated.
The minister knows the procedures of handling the issues if somebody is suspected, a public officer is suspected of being corrupt.
Minister Evelyn Anite wants the shared funds to be rescinded for the project to regain its process. Also, the strategy that UIA officials saved Uganda about 5.9 billion shillings from the would-be cost of their performance by external service provider is an excuse for taking the money.
So the corrupt will run around and defend themselves. You see, I actually took it, I saved this, I saved that. The question is, ask them a simple question. Go to Namamve. Say, this project started in 2019. We're in 2024. Why haven't you finished? It's supposed to be 5 years. Why are you still at 50%?
The board has not written to us as UIA staff and to say that we are supposed to, that there was a mistake or an error. We paid this money in error.
The UIA management says that the honoraria was paid in accordance to the UIA internal policies and procedures for work. In the UIA HR manual, a honoraria is defined as an allowance payable when UIA wants a particular piece of work to be carried out by an employee within a specified period, which 1 is extremely important to UIA, 2 is outside the normal scope of the employee's official duties, and 3 involves disproportionate amount of employees' official and private time.
And we did the work, and after the work we are paid. 3, in the budget for 2023, where this money was paid, where it was approved by the board, and in that budget, honoraria for support staff from UIA is provided for.
In 2019, Government of Uganda secured a loan from the UKEF Financing Facility and Commercial Facility of euros 215 billion 65,212.41 for the Kampala Industrial Development Plan project. 5 years later, the project is below average performance.
And so some people tell me, Anita, but this is small money. Don't talk about the small money. And I tell them, no, small or big, it's bit by bit makes a bundle. If they steal every thief, my belief is that they started by stealing their mother's sugar.
Minister Anite decries threats as she executes her job.
Because even the one who would want to take my life will also go. So the control of my life is only God.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The Community Health Department of the Ministry of Health has received technical support from AMREF Health Africa to in the operationalization of the community health strategy. Now, the Ministry of Health Community Health Strategy aims at improving access to basic health services by the grassroots people.
In early 2023, the Ministry of Health launched the first community health strategy to ensure access to health services by people at the grassroots. So, AMREF Health Africa, under the technical assistance to Ministry of Health 11 months project, supported the Ministry of Health Department of Community Health to functionalize the community health strategy.
We did this in a strategy that brought dissemination at regional levels. We've actually disseminated this to all the 17 regional referral hospitals. And that is speaking to the community, now called public health departments of those hospitals. And we expected that with that, we would have built their capacity to cascade it down using the hub and spoke model of the Ministry of Health to the districts that are within their mandate to support. And
the program officer, Community Health Department in the Ministry of Health, Edward Wasenge, commended AMREF Health Africa for extending the technical support.
AMREF has actually supported us by training more than 130 health workers in 17 regional referral hospitals and also integrated the National Community Health Strategy in their work plans. AMREF has also promoted the digitizing of community health workforce because we needed to know where this community health workforce are situated. It has also helped us to promote community health financing to make resources available for community health service delivery in the communities and also promoting services of primary health care through the parish development model at the parish level.
Public health departments at regional referral hospitals were also supported on how to operationalize the community health strategy.
We want to start using data being generated by the village health team or the community health workers to make decisions for the region and based on in that community, because different communities have different problems. So we want to use, they usually collect data and also help out in some of the referrals and some of the care. You can see that these community health workers have been trained to manage malaria at the community. So if they find someone and suspect malaria, they can manage and give treatment as in medicine for malaria. So they can also identify mothers who are pregnant and bring them to what? To the health facility early enough.
The operationalization of the community health strategy, especially health promotion and education, will improve the health of the people at the grassroots. Adia Nakute, UBC.
River Rizi, originating from southwestern Uganda, is a crucial source of wealth for about 3 million people. However, human activity has affected its usefulness and requires urgent attention. The Rizi Catchment Management Committee, stakeholders, and Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, has developed a strategic plan to guide sustainable practices and restoration efforts.
To save River Rizi from extinction, Victoria Water Management Zone has initiated the Save River Rizi Marathon exercise scheduled for July 28, 2024.
To join hands in supporting this noble cause. Together, we can achieve the goal of sustainable utilization of the River Rizi ecosystem for cultural, social and economic benefit.
Ministry of Water and Environment and Abahumuza Development Group will focus on preserving River Rizi and fostering community engagement in environmental conservation.
River Rizi, and so its health and well-being matters very well and very much to each one of them.
The theme of the day is Women as Stewards in Sustainable Utilization of Water and Environmental Resources, Empowering the Girl Child in Conservation.
We contribute to the objective of sustainable access to adequate and quality water supply.
A representative of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWS, Immaculate Kobogambe, stated that the River Rizi catchment area is extensive, stretching from Buhweju district down to Rakai, benefiting the regions.
The whole catchment is big, stretching all the way from Buhweju to down in Chotera.
The environmental officer in charge of Mbarara City North, Joseph Asasira, says Mbarara City continues to grow as many people believe that wetlands must exist within the city.
The city is growing and people think that wetlands don't go into the city. To them they feel it is about having buildings and growing the economic activity.
Fred Anyinye, Benon Mokwaya, UBC.
Now, Uganda conceptualized the decentralization policy and programs to build democratic governance, responsive and accountable to the public, and promote capacity building at the local level. Now, this was to be achieved by introducing local choices into the delivery of services and fostering a sense of local ownership. In our first special series about the implementation of the decentralization policy, we'll look at Arua District and Arua City, where leaders say that the policy would be good without the interference of the central government. Most disappointing in both Arua District and Arua City, the implementation of the policy has remained on paper, with remittances of local revenue collections being taken by the central government that determines the resource envelope for the district. Now, our reporter Joseph Odama looks at the anecdotes of the failed decentralization policy in both Arua and Arua City.
Introduced in 1992, decentralization policy gave powers to local governments to make decisions and also collect revenue in the planning processes of the local governments. The policy aimed at bringing services nearer to citizens through the local government structures.
The policy gave powers to local governments, like one, they're in position to appropriate and approve their own budgets, they're in position to collect local revenue.
And one of the reasons of that was to ensure participation, popular participation. And then we make sure decision making does not take long.
The organization structure of the decentralization policy spells out districts and sub-counties having their own councils to deliberate on resource collections and allocations. From this perspective, decentralization was for better service delivery to the people. It was also hoped that once decentralization was undertaken by government, the local populace would own up government programs. They would be more willing to participate and possibly contribute to design and do the implementation of such programs and even be ready to pay taxes.
The taxes should reflect back to the communities through the services like good roads, like power connectivity to the national grid. So people, once they see the value for the money they are paying in form of taxes, they appreciate and they will continue paying willingly. So the government should ensure that the money paid by the people in form of taxes comes back to them through the decentralization system of governance.
Whereas study findings show that the decentralization policy has suffered adverse financing constraints and several other challenges. Arua District Chairman Alfred Okonji and Arua City Mayor Wadesam Nyakwa say decentralization policy has been one of the best policies in Uganda in delivering services to the citizens. But political leaders hold mixed reactions about the effectiveness of the policy based on the evidence of local revenue remittances to the central government, where decisions are made on when the resources are channeled back to implement government projects.
The original purpose of decentralization was very superb, very wonderful, excellent. But along the way, some good parts of decentralization have been removed. For example, the financial powers of local governments have very much shifted from the original design of decentralization.
To me, I see decentralization was introduced, it was very good. But somewhere in the middle, some wise people are trying to re-centralize. And the local revenue I raise here first has to be remitted to central government. You wonder what is the reason of taking it to Kampala?
There are certain functions that the central government does not want to relinquish.
For example, some of the big government projects that come to the local governments come with their own procurement processes, and yet we have our own procurement process in place.
Independent analysts hold the view that decentralization policy has only continued to be relevant for democratization and political outreach.
Politics drives the narrative at the end of the day. You can't deliver services without a political agenda. And if the political will is not there, then it becomes a challenge for the people in that particular area. And you see people suffering sometimes because they didn't vote well in courts. It becomes hard to understand because there are people who vote well. They vote well. At the end of it all, they are the most people who suffer even. But all in all, what we need is services should reach the people.
Empowering local governments to collect and make decisions on their revenue realization is what these leaders suggest for the central government to only retain the oversight role.
You know, the power of local governments, among other things, lies in money. Government has to consider these issues, otherwise local governments have become too weak because you rely entirely on central government transfers.
My appeal to government is to build the capacities of local governments at district level and also sub-county level to manage their issues.
Citizens are the center of governance as they provide resources for the daily running of the nation. And the effective running of the nation is evidenced by the service delivery in the forms of road infrastructure, improved education, enhanced trade opportunities, and energy supply that decentralization policy would have achieved in Uganda. Joseph Fodama, UBC News.
A senior entrepreneur and education manager, Godfrey Banana, wants learning in Uganda to integrate skilling programs to address the unemployment gap. He was speaking during the blessing of new student leaders at All Saints Junior School, Namataba, where the parish priest Namagunga Catholic Parish, Father John Chrysostom Selwada, was administering the First Holy Communion.
There is voice, praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the people rejoice, oh God.
Instilling religious values is affirmed to strengthen the family and create a patriotic society. The parish priest of Namagunga Catholic Parish, Reverend Father John Chrysostom Serwada, says the fear of God, starting with young ones, restores respect for humanity.
Let us be proud of our religion. Be proud of your religion. Be proud of your church, and always be ready to support it and to be one with it.
He was leading a Holy Communion and Commitment Mass for Christians at All Saints Junior School, Namataba.
We are celebrating our Catholicity. We have to affirm this, our Catholicity.
A senior educationist, Godfrey Banana, wants learning institutions to shape the future generation where sustainable skilling programs for the young generation will address unemployment.
We try to emphasize skills development so that even when those learners leave this school, they can be able to do things of their own. We don't only train the learners for the academics in class, but also outside class, because that's what the future calls us to do.
Identifying leadership skills at an early stage and imparting such skills to breed Ugandans will save more from corruption.
We had our learners, the prefect's body, where we have come through the election period and we practice democracy to the core. And we teach them that it is through fair practices of not corruption, no stealing of votes, that we train them from day one that they can be able to lose as well and lose honorably.
A prefect body was sworn in to expand the leadership strategy, which also introduces young people to democracy.
We are trying very much, one, to identify talent, to identify leaders, because leaders, this country must have very many leaders, and all the world is looking for great leaders. So we put it to ourselves as a school to develop and nurture leaders.
Ariana Francisco, UBC.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Friday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Take 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
We all want it. That soft yellow glow with subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Welcome back. You're still watching UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Now, in the world of sports, the second edition of the FUFA TV Cup has witnessed its fourth match day as teams contested the round of 64 second leg. More from John Barnes Centamo.
Reigning champion St. Mary's College Kisubi has been ejected from the FUFA TV Cup by St. Bali Kudembe Mitala Maria Senior Secondary School. The visitors at St. Bali Kudembe Mitala Maria lost this round of 64 second leg by 3-2, but qualified to the next round 5-3 on aggregate, having won its home leg 3-0.
I feel happy because we've been making enough training. Although my students, most of them are still young, lower classes, senior 1, senior 2. But I managed also to perform.
St. Mary's College Kisubi became the first team to fall this year, but this didn't derail the mood ahead of next season, especially with the quality of players at its disposal.
Kashaba is good, and that is Kashaba Sharin. That is just number 10. He's a good fellow, and he has been a motivation to the team. And scoring a brace is not may not be a surprise, but he has been performing to his best like that. There are other people that could have scored more goals, but maybe luck was not on their side. These boys could have scored more goals. So we put up a fight attacking, but the goal didn't go past the goal line. But I know next year, probably, since he's in senior 5, he can also help the team to progress because he's the assistant captain. The captain has been the goalkeeper who's in senior 6. I know that motivation can take him higher.
This tournament, that is for traditional schools, is a welcome relief, with the direct involvement of school administrators offering a welcome sight.
Oh, I feel great. I thank God for this win. I'm very happy that St. Bali Kudembe has qualified for the round of 32. I thank God. I congratulate the boys so much for having put up a spirited fight. It's been a nice match.
In some of the other games played, Jinja College, Lubiri SS, Mengo SS, Lango College, Ngora High School, St. Edward Bukomi, Gombe SS and Komboni College advanced to the round of 32.
We have managed to score 2 against 0 for Makerere College School, and we are fighting to bring back the pride of Lubiri Secondary School, which has historically been known as a sports giant.
It's not that important because I know with sports
There are so many things that we are going to promote. First of all, we think about the discipline of the learner. If somebody is going to participate in sports, they must be very good team players in order to bring out excellency. We expect sports to promote the physical health of the learner as well as the mental wellness.
And the second leg of the 2024 Buganda Masaza Cycling Tour has successfully been held in Mityana, and our sports team has more.
The men participated in 72 kilometers for the professional road bikes and 63 kilometers for the ordinary bikes, while the ladies in 54 kilometers for the road bikes and 36 kilometers for the ordinary ones.
Today we've had yet another exciting race of cycling, which has come in Singo County, where we've had 85 participants racing this time. This is the second of its kind this year. We are going to have another 3 races.
Aziz Sempija of Bulemezi with his road bike continued to shine again and won the 72 kilometers within 1 hour, 41 minutes and 4 seconds. Mbazira Mwanawatu of Busiro finished second and Bulemezi's Arafat Kimuli was third.
Ebintu ebenjawulo ebintu sisa ku buwanguzi bwa leero. Soko kwebaza manager waffe atuteekamu ssente kubanga kusinzira kale ku gali ze tuvuga ne training ye tukola kuba training terimba abavuzi bonna kyensobola baga nti training terimba olwokola ennyo training n'olemerako sobola otuuka ku buwanguzi. Nebaza manager waffe kuba atuteekamu ekisoboka kubanga tuvuga ku gali eziriko ku mulembe guno omutebi.
In the men's ordinary bikes, Abudus Kivumbi Yahaya emerged winner, followed by Hassan Kato and Ronald Kisiriko, both of Bulemezi. Bugere's Kevin Nakato reduced Budus Flavia Nakagwa and Brenda Sikoya of Chagwe to second and third respectively in the women's road bikes.
Ndio musanyufu. Wanga mpangudde eggaali ez'amasaza. Newa amasaza agawedde era nakwata namba emu. Kyamukisa mulungi era nzizeemu okukwata namba emu.
In the women's ordinary bikes, Bugere's Shaluwa Bamukobeire and Shanita Muchaye were first and second. At the championship, the best got medals, trophies and cash.
Many of them have improved their times they did in Bulemezi this time. So the competition is getting bigger and bigger. We call upon everyone to come and support these racers. Give them whatever you have, support them, transport them, because when you develop this kind of talent, His Majesty the Kabaka gives an opportunity to everyone in Buganda to do what they do best in a competition like this one.
Bugerere were overall winners in both women categories, while Bulemezi emerged overall winners in the road bikes for men, and Budu won in the ordinary bikes. The third leg will take place on 7th September in Zese Island, the 4th on 6th October in Budu, and the final one in Chadondo, 16th November 2024.
And then the second leg trials for the national woodball team have been concluded at Makerere University Business School in Nakawa. The Samoan team is of 16 men and 16 women, of whom only 7 are required from each gender. Our reporter followed the proceedings.
The battle to represent Uganda at the Woodball World Cup in China this October has witnessed the second trial at Makerere University Business School.
Today we are at the second trials here at Makerere University Business School, and you realize that there is some change from the previous outing at Kyambogo. You find that those players who didn't play very well are trying to pull up their socks to see that at least they can catch up, because like we had agreed with them that the top 7 players are going to be taken off to support the team, both in men and women. So today there is a number of changes, and no one is comfortable where they are because the number of shifts in the positions looking at how they're performing.
In the women's category, Joan Mukova, who tops with 354 points and is poised to qualify as one of the top 7 players, is optimistic of better at the World Cup.
In the past events that have featured at the World Cup,
Yep.
I don't think I've met the competition actually is always changing and it's quite stiff. And I believe the fact that I'm going for maybe the 6th time, I will do so much better because now I'm used to the competition. I know what to expect somehow. I'll do much better than I've done in the first edition.
The rules of engagement at these trials, of which participants will go through 3, are that the top 7 in each category earn a national team slot. These will be joined by last season's respective gender most valuable players, accolades that went to Thomas Keddy among the men and Joyce Narubega for the ladies. As it stands, the top 7 positions among the women have Joan Mokova, Jackie Naula, Babili Naluoga, Mirembe Sanyu, Nabagala Sandra, Namara Mary, and Christine Birunji. The men top 7 is Crescent Rwanyombia, Daniel Apita, Ankunda Derek, Tony Sechene, Trevor Oming, Edson Tumwine, and Brian Guaka. The third and final trial will be hosted at St. Joseph's Technical Institute, Kisubi, next Sunday.
And that brings us to the end of our 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. However, do join us at 10 o'clock for another bulletin. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and see you at 10.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.